Hi, good morning, everyone. So can you hear me? Is it audible to everyone? So please confirm this in the chat window. So if you are able to hear me. Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes, what we are doing and how was that like weekend? Yeah, we go for the quickly recollecting that, whatever we were understanding in the previous section, and then we'll continue with that. Yeah, in the previous section, we were talking this or understanding how do we define the comments in the Python. Yeah, how do we add that comment seeds with the hash? Yes, you can define this in the midline or the start of the line, or like if you have this any like unused statements, then instead of removing that from the source code, what we can do? So we can temporarily comment it, then you can continue running the programs. But whenever you need it back, that code, yes, you can get it back. Yeah, by uncommenting that. Yes. So we are talking that's all those points. How do we define the comments? That is one section. Then we were understanding that data types. Yeah, this is the important thing. So if you are learning the Python, so most of that like at least 2 or 3 interview questions on the data types. But what are the different data types? That's we are trying to understand it. Can you give me the name? What are the different data types? Integer. Then we are talking about it, a string, Boolean. String is sequence of the characters, right? Integer is its numeric representation, and Boolean is true or false. Then we are talking about the list of elements to define it in the sequence order. Yeah, ordered based. Then we have the list. Then we have that like a dictionary. But dictionary is different with the compared with that list. Dictionary is having that key value representation. So how it is going to store it is, so it is going to store in the format of key and the value. Yeah, you can store it multiple objects by referring that with a key. Yes, key 1, key 2. But key must be unique, right? In the dictionary, whenever we see those words, what is the unique? The same way, key must be unique. Yeah, like that's dictionary format and a list representation. How do we represent the list in the Python? The sequence of elements. How do we define that in the Python list? How do we define it? Yes, with a the square brackets which we can use it, and you can define that either integer value or string value or Boolean value. Yeah, so you can store that list of all the elements in that, yes, as a sequence order. So this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, and we can change it at any time, the value of the list. Yeah, list, dictionary. Then what is the next data type? We were concluding that, but we will see that like talking that all these examples. So we'll work with that. Do we use column in dictionary? So what is this column? I didn't understand the column, but yes, here, I mean, in the database terminology, if you talked about it, this is the column name and this is the column value. That is the database terminology. But in the dictionary, we say that the key and value. Yeah, dictionary, list, and then yes, what else we are understanding? Tuple. So how do we represent the tuple? So what is the representation of the tuple? Yes, good. Yeah, tuple is also the list. But what is the difference between that, like a list and tuple is? So once if we store that objects in the tuple, you cannot change it. So this is a list is immutable. You can change the value. Suppose 10 I have stored now, but later we need to change the value of this the first number. So that is to the 20. Yes, it accepts it. List is going to accepting that. But tuple, once you define the value, so it doesn't accept the change. You cannot update it. So that is the main difference. List and tuple almost the same, but list is mutable and tuple is immutable. Next, we are talking that's one more data type, that is a set. So how do we represent the set? Yes, that is about double curly braces. Yeah, this is also like as a list in the ordered based. I mean, list is ordered based, but set is unordered. Suppose if I store that values like this, but it is not going to use it any specific order, but it is going to list is going to use the order. So this is a 0 index. This is like index number 1. This is index number 2. Like that, it is going to manage the internal objects in the memory. And tuple is also, yes, the same thing, but list and tuple is mutable and immutable. That is the main difference. But set is also kind of the list, but it is unordered and it accepts only unique values. Unique. That means A, B I have stored, but if I would like to store it once again, that A, it doesn't accept it because A is already there. Yeah, so this one we say that the unique values, which is unordered, but list is, yes, you can store that. Like suppose you have the 20, yes, again you can store that one more 20, no issues. Because internally it is going to use it ordered based. 0th index number. This is about 1, this is 2, this is 3. Like that, it is going to store that irrespective of the values. But here set is especially going to work it on the basis of the values. Yes, A, B, and it must be unique. Tuple is also list. It is also ordered based, but this is immutable. You cannot change it once it is defined. Yeah, so that is about important. So these differences, if we remember that, almost that like 2 or 3 interview questions on the Python, especially on the data types, yes, you are good with that. The main they ask you that what is the list, what is the dictionary, what is the tuple, what is the set. Set they don't go further much. Main is list and the dictionary and with the tuple. Are you clear about this? And one more section which you are talking about it, comments. The comment is that is simple, straightforward, ash, which we use it. But in some of the programming language, Java or shell scripting, if you are using that, we use it like this, double forward slash. That is representing as a comment line. Yeah, dictionary is also unordered key value pairs. Yes. But this is going to use it key and value representation. So yeah, so here it is a colon. Yes, correct. That is like a key value representation. So it uses that unordered representation. So it is going to store that these values on the base of the key. Okay, so these things we are understanding in the last section. Anything else which you are understanding? Okay, now this is the time to move into that. Yeah, yes. One more, the float also good. The float, which represents a decimal format. Yes, this is, normal representation. Within that integer itself, we have the two types. So normal and as well as float. Good. A decimal representation. Is anything else which we had it? Are you good with all these stuff? Now we go for this integers, integer data type, and talking more on this. So we have some operators to perform it on the integers, like you know that arithmetic operators. Yeah, those arithmetic operators, how do you perform it in the Python? As we look into that one by one. So let me go back. Data types I was creating, but let me see that. Yeah, these data types we are concluding that, yes. So what is this representation? So greeting, which data type is this? Type that quickly. Greeting is a variable. What is the data type of this? You cannot see the screen. But how others able to give that answers? Okay, fine. Now what about that? Is it okay? Okay, good, yeah. So greeting is, here it represents that is a string. And yes, here age is the variable. What is the data type this? Everyone quickly participate that. At least you should able to analyze the program. That is my intention. End of this Python. So if you see this, the Python code, you should able to analyze it. You should work like as a Python interpreter. Okay, good. So what about the speed 1, speed 2, these variables here? Today the mouse is not working properly. Okay, good. So what about the speed 1, speed 2, these variables? What about the speed 3? Is it float or integer? Speed 3, is it a float variable or integer variable? I see there's some responses as integer, but no, this is not the integer as we have the decimal. So it is by default, it is going to represent as a 4.0. So this is the float. What about the speed 4? Yeah, so here clear cut, there is no the decimal. So that is about integer. And especially whenever we are talking to the Boolean, yes, the false and the true. How do you need to represent it? True or false? Yes, first character, it must be caps. So true or false are the Boolean variables whenever you are defining that. First variable must be caps, otherwise it is not going to accepting that. So the mouse is not working. So let me use that hand, but I'm not good with the hand. Okay. Fine. Okay, so if you define this the false like this, yes, it is going to throw that error, and as a name error, name false is not defined. That means it is going to consider this false as a variable. It is saying that that name is not defined. It must be with the caps. That is make sure that. And in the numeric representation, true value is equal to 1 and false value equal to the 0. That is also remember that whenever we are talking about the written values, the true, what is internally going to have it. True represents 1, false equal to 0. Yeah, so that's good. Now let me create the one more the notebook for the integer data types. Now, especially today, we are going to concentrate on the integer data type. So integer, as we know that like as numbers representation. Suppose here if I'm going to refer that something, so this is number representation, right? But in the Python, what is one more beauty which we have the says? So whenever you are representing that integers, so you can use it underscore also. Suppose I would like to use it after the zeros, and to differentiate it, I would like to use it underscore like this. So what about this value and first value and second value? Second variable. Do you have any differences or both are the same? What do you think about this? What is the value of this one? Suppose if I try to print it. So what is the value it is going to give into return that? And if I try to print it, this one. So what is the value it is going to printing that? Is it the both or is it the different? Yeah, if you run that, the integers, now you see this here, even if I define that underscores also in the integer, there is no difference at all. So if you'd like to store that, or if you'd like to better representation, why it has been given underscore is, yes, if you'd like to differentiate it in the integers, yes, you can use it underscores, like 15 and then zeros, then like 2 value, then zeros. Yes, you can separate it within that integer itself by using the underscore. But this value and this value both are the same. So this is not the string. This is only the possible in integer. If it is a string, this is different and this is the different. But in the integer, both are the same. Are you clear about this point? Yeah, you can use it underscores in the integer. No issues about it that. Sorry, let me mark this one as a code. And next cell, I would like to use the markdown. Suppose here in the integer, one more points which we should understand. The numbers whenever you are representing that, the scientific notation. So integers, whenever you are defining that, we have the concept of scientific notations. Suppose have you heard about that or have you seen anywhere in our academic career? Yes. Yes, in our academic career, suppose like this format, or either this one or this format. Have you seen anywhere about this scientific notation? What is the meaning of this 3E4? Can you give me the value of this? in the scientific notation? Anyone? So what is the 3E4? Okay. Okay. E means 10. Okay. Then what about multiplication? Then I need their value. So what is the value of this 3E4? Can you give me that value? Okay, good. So here the meaning of that one is 3 into 10 power that value, power of that. So power of that's the value. So that represents, so what is the value here? After the 3 4 zeros. This is one notation which we can understand this in the integers. Suppose what about this notation? Maybe you know it already, this one also. So 3e minus 4. So what about this notation? So above one which we are talking, that have you got this one? The first statement. So e represents 10, and here the whatever the number that represents power of it. Suppose here if I mention that 3 and something 6. Okay, let me use it one more line. Then now give me that answers. Suppose if I mention that 3 is 6. So what is this like value? Either you can use it small e or cap C. What is the value of this one? Come on, man. Yes. Okay, I got it. Okay. Yeah, so 3 value and the E represents 10. And after that, what is the value we have to find? That is 6. That is a 10 power 6. 10 power 6 is nothing but 10 zeros. 6 zeros, right? After the 3, you can mark it 6 zeros. So this is the representation of it. But what about this one? 3e minus 4 or 3e minus 6 or what about that? Minus represents what is that? You can use it cap C also. 3e minus 4. So here that represents 3 into minus is nothing but 1 divided by 10 power the 4. 10 power 4. So that represents here as a division. That means 3 divided by 10 power 4. So what is the value? That is a points represents, right? So 0 point. So how many zeros it is going to have it? 4 points total it is going to have it. Yes, 4 points. Get the point representation. Like that 6 if you have that. So after the point, total 6 digits you need to have it. Yeah, this is the scientific notation we'll call that. Yes, Python is going to helping that to understand that this scientific notation as well as. Suppose let me give that one print statement. So the mouse is today given the disturbance. Okay, I need to check it. Okay, once plus is where I'll check it. But let me continue. So now, suppose if I try to print this, something 0.0000 something 3. Now, what is the value I'm going to get it that? So if you run this program, now you see that it is given that in scientific notation. So don't get surprised whenever you got that outputs this representation. Are you clear about these points? So we should understand that suppose if I give that like something 5 points, then we can easily understand that. So how many digits it has been given that? The 5. As after the point, it is having that 5 digits as a 10 representation. 10, so it is. So then you are going to get it that output in the scientific notation. Yes, sometimes, yes, whenever you are performing that either divisions or kind of, yes, like arithmetic operations on the integers, you will get it that scientific notation of the responses as well as. So we should able to understand that. Are you clear about this scientific notation? Everyone, if you're good, yes, type this in the chat window. Integers representation, integer itself you can define in a 2 ways. One is with underscore you can define it, or directly the integer you can define it. So this is one thing which you are understanding. And second point is, yes, that like a point representation with a 10 division or a 10 multiplication, if you have anything, then it can be used as scientific notation of that integers. So this is one more representation of it. Yes, next one more thing, integers, whenever we are talking that, we have this one more concept. Octal notation and hexadecimal notation. Anyone knows about that? Those octal and hexadecimals. Octal notation or hexadecimal notation. How many of you know that? I see this one response. So how do we represent the numbers? No idea. Okay, fine, no issues. Yeah, but these are all things required to understand it. In the integers, especially we talked about it. Yeah, next, let me talk about it. Octal numbers. So how do we represent that octal numbers in Python? It starts with the 0, either caps O, or we can use it a 0 with a small o. If the integer starts with 0 with caps O or small o, then that integer is in the format of that octal representation. Suppose if I try to print the variable which is having the something which starts, it has to start with 0 and O. That is octal representation. Suppose if I give that like 1, 2, 3 some number, then what is the value? It is going to return that. You see that we got it something 83. What it is 83? But I have represented 1, 2, 3. But why it is got it like 83? Is that a response back? Can you give me that anyone answer? Yeah, so this is the O. After the 0, first 0 and then O. 0 caps O or small o, which we can use it, that represents octal number. And we got it 83. Why it is got that 83? Anyone here? Okay, so how it is going to use it is, so it starts from that left side, sorry, right side, and it is going to have that, this is a 3 power 3 into 8 power 0 plus 2 into 8 power 1 plus 1 into 8 power 2 So the position based, it is going to changing the power value. Let me show that example. So we have defined that 1, 2, 3. So what is this 1, 2, 3 meaning in the octal notation? Okay. So in the octal notation, that is equal to, so these are 3 integers we have. So it is going to start from left side, right side. So what is that value? 3 into first position is 8 power 0. So 3, that is the first position from the left. So that is going to have that the octal is 8 representation, 8 power 0. So second value, second, if we just talk it that in the same, what is the second position? What is the second integer? 2. 2 into, so what is the power of that 8 here? 8 power 1. Like this, if you move into this third position, what is the integer value? 1. 1 into 8 power 2. Like that, it is going to increasing that the power of that 8 value on the base of the position. So first position is 0, second position is 8 power 1, third position is 8 power 2. So now if you combine all these 3 stuff, what is the value? So what is the value it is getting there? Can you give me the answer here? 3 into 8 power 0 is nothing but 8 power 0 is power of one integer. What is the value? Power of 0, that is 1. 3 into 1, the value is 3. Now next coming to that, 2 into 8 power 1, 8 power 1 equal to 8. Then what is the value here? 16. Next coming to that 1 into 8 power 2, 8 power 2, what is the value? 8 eighths. 8 into 8, that is meaning. So 1 into 64, 64. Yes, if you combine all these 3, that is 3 plus 16 plus 64, not combined, that is addition. What is the value here now? 80 plus 3, 83. So that is, we got it here. You got that octal representation? Yeah, these are all like in our academic career, we have this, but maybe some people you didn't have that in your academic career as non-computers or non-IT background. That's why, so I just mentioning about it, all these numeric data types representation. You can use it octal, especially these octal and hexadecimals, which will be used large number values to store it that. Yeah, this is about octal. Are you clear about this octal representation? Type that. Are you following, everyone? So following, just I mean, let's use the keyword the following, and give me the message in the chat window, everyone. Then how many of you are following that? I can understand it. Even that computers or non-computers, it doesn't matter that they're all like the things. If you just concentrate on that, you can understand it. If you have this little bit maths background, yes, that's enough. So this is about octal representation, but in the integer, we have this one more concept. Actually, this should be okay. So it has come. That's in the different lines. I mean, the single line, fine. So next one, which we have this is hexadecimal representation. How do we represent hexadecimal? Let me write the comment. So next one is hexadecimal. But how it is going to start with that? So there are like interpreter notations. So if you would like to use it octal, or if you see this like the integer starts with that like a 0 and either caps O or small o, then we can understand that is about. So this value is in the format of that octal representation. Now hexadecimal, whenever you come back to that, so it is in the format of that, the 0 x representation. Either you can use it the small x or with the caps letter. So 0 O for octal, and x for that hexadecimal. Suppose if I try to print value, here like a 0 and x with 1, 2, 3, same number if I take it. What is the value here? Can you give me that answer? What is the value now? Anyone, can you try that? What is the value of this one? So 291. Yes, I got it. One response is good. Ramsai good. Okay, so this 291. Why it is 291? So as we know that 1, 2, 3, that is equal to, so first position 3 into, so here hexadecimal represents a 16. Hexa, that represents 16. That is the power of the first letter 0. The same way, before we are working with that 8, now the hexadecimal represents for the 16. Then 2 into 16 power the 1, that is 16 into 1. Then third position 1, and it has to be multiplied on the base of the position, that is third minus 1, I mean that is 2. Now what about this value? 3 into 1, that is equal to 3, and this is 2 into 16, that is 32. Then this is 1 into 16 into 16. Then what is the value? So what is the value? 16 16s? Yes, that is 256. Now if you combine all the things, so 256 plus 32 plus 3. So that is 291. Are you clear about this point? Syntax error, leave it off it. I'm running as a code, so that's why we got it the syntax error, but just understand it. So 291, this is a hexadecimal representation. So octal and hexadecimal representation in the integers. Total, we are talking that the different formats of that integer. One is, yes, directly you can define the integer. Second one is, yes, you can use it underscore also in the integer. There is no difference about this number and this number in the Python interpretation point of view. Then we are talking that the scientific notation of this, yes. So whenever you see this output, the E representation, E is nothing but 10, minus is nothing but it comes into that division, and the plus representation, that is the power of it, 10 power of that number, or 1 divided by 10 power of that number if it is the minus. So that is scientific represent notation. Then we are talking that octal representation. Then we are talking that hexadecimal representation. So there are the different formats of that decimal number or integer, not the decimal. So integer, which we can define that in Python. So is it clear? The overall scientific, octal, hexa. Yes. Now let me talk it about that operators. Yeah, now we know that how do we represent the numbers. But now this is the time to understand it, operators. As we know that like operators, what are the different operations we can perform on the integers? What are the different operations can we perform? Can you give me that? Plus, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, that is the standard divisions we'll call it. Then we have some more point of that, like integer division, standard division, SD, standard division, and integer division. And as well as we have the one more like modulus. Yeah, there are like the main operators which are available. So let's look into it about that, these operators on integer data types point of view. Are you clear these points? Okay, let me go for this quickly. Suppose if you use it like arithmetic operators directly, yes, you can use it directly. Yes, what is the value we are going to get it? Yes, as a 5. The arithmetic operator, no issues. Then if I use it like a subtraction, yes, directly, which you can represent it, and multiplication. So 3 asterisk here it is represented as a multiplication. Suppose so 3 asterisk something 10. If you use it, yes, that is multiplication. But in the division, I was mentioning that 2 types of the divisions. In the division, I was mentioning about it, standard division and as well as integer division. So what is the difference between that? So let me talk about the first standard division. Suppose if I use it something 6 divided by 2, then what is the value? You see this in the standard division, it is written in the format of the float number. Do you observe that? So the interpreter, how it is written that it is not written the 3, it is not written the integer. It is written that the float value. Suppose if I give that 7 divided by 2 something, yes, 3.5. Okay, here I can understand that 3.5 because that is 2 3s and then point then 5. Yes, 3.5. But in the above section, why it was written that 3.0? That is a float number. Yeah, that is the main point. Standard division, it is going to written in the format of that, the float number. Do you understand the points? But if I need that integer representation of it, then we need to use it, the integer notation of the division. Then you see this, I got it, not the float number, that is about integer number. So this is actual integer division, double forward slash. But if you use it at a single forward slash as a division representation, this is going to written that in the format of, the value is going to written in the format of that, the float representation. That is the main difference. So here what we can say, this is going to round that value. Suppose if I use it to 7 divided by with integer division with the 2, then what is the value we are going to get it? Can you guess me that? Can you give me that answer? Is it going to give that in, that is 3.5? What is the value? Yes, so it is in the format of the integer representation. So as it is going to rounding that float number is going to rounding to that integer number. and integer number only will be returning that. So that is the main difference which we can understand with a single, that's normal, which we can say standard division, and as well as integer division. Yeah, obviously, if we use that one of the number as a float number, it is going to return that float number. So if one of the number is the float number, then obviously that is going to return that. See, that's the difference. Yeah, one of the number is the float number. Obviously, the return value is the float only, because you have represented about your data type as a float. 2.5 here, it is a float number. If one of the number is the float, obviously, even in the standard division or in that integer division, so it is going to return that the float value. If both are the integers in the standard division, so it is returning the float. But if it is the normal integer division, it is returning that only integer. Is it clear at this point? Yeah, in the arithmetic operators, like whenever you are working with that integers, one of the number is a float. Obviously, the output is going to return the float. But here we are talking that the integers first. We'll come back to that. Yes, next itself the float. But in the float, whenever you are performing arithmetic operators, one of the number is the float. Then obviously the output will be float. Simple. Okay, let me talk it to one more the operator that's which we have that the modulus. So what is this modulus symbol? Maybe if you know this other programming languages, you know this module, or if you know already Python, you know the module. What is it? What it is going to return that now? What is the value of this? Yeah, module is percentage representation. What is the output of this? Statement. 6 modulus 2. So it is going to return the remainder. Suppose 7 modulus 2. What is the value we are going to have it? So that is about 3 into 6 plus 1, right? So what is this value we are going to have it? The 1. Yeah, 2 3s. Sorry. 2 into 3. Yeah, 2 3s plus 1. So this is the value you are going to get it. So that's like what other value you are adding that after this multiplication, that value we can say this is remainder in the division point of view. Yes. So the remainder, if you would like to get it, then you can use it, the modulus. Yeah, this is any, that is like not only the Python, if you know that's like any the other programming like Java, the C. So this is a generic approach. Yeah, these are all some arithmetic operators, the plus, minus, asterisk, integer division, and as well as standard division, and then modulus. Next, coming to that, the one more exception, let me show that here. Suppose in the division, already we are understanding that the 5, and if I divide this, any number with 0, is it acceptable or not acceptable? If you divide any number with 0, so what's going to happen that? Now interpreter, is it going to return that the value something, or what it is going to say that? See that probably error or undefined. Yeah, so the expectation would be error. Yes, what is this error we got? It is zero division error. So internal, the Python interpreter is not handling the zero, divided that number by zero. So it is going to return, it is going to throw that error. What is that error that is showing us is zero division error. Yeah, so this is going to return that, interpreter is going to return the error, the number you cannot divide it with zero. But in the normal, we say that's like infinite representation, right? There is no meaning of that's the zero. But in the Python interpreter point of view, it is throwing that exception, that is zero division error. So are you clear about this? These data types? Let me, yes, we have this one more also, power of that. Suppose if I would like to show that the 3 power of, normally we are saying that normal representation power is 3 power. If I say this 3, what is the meaning of that? 3 power of 3 is nothing but 3 times multiplication, right? So this is the meaning of that. What is the value? 27. But in the Python, how do we represent this one? If you like to perform that power of the 3 operation or power of any number, how do we represent that value? So in the Python, how do we represent is double asterisk. So if I try to execute this one, yes, we see that we got it 27. Or if I say this 10 power of 5, then we got it 1 lakh. So in the power representation, so power operator, what is the power operator in Python is double asterisk. Are you clear this? One more operator. So some in the overall operators, if we just talk it, let me go up and let me define in the single place about that all the arithmetic operators. They're all we say that arithmetic operators. So mouse is giving some issue. Yeah, you can note it one more. That is double asterisk. Double asterisk that represents power of. Plus minus the asterisk, standard division, integer division, modulus, and power of. Yeah, these are all some important operators which we can understand it. Now, if you move into that, the float values also. As we are understanding that, suppose if I give that 2 plus 3, what is the value? That is, it is written in the format of that integer. But if I give that, so what is this value? Is it integer it is going to return that, or is it going to return the float? So it is going to return the float. Yes, if one of the number, either left operand or right operand, if that number is the float, then automatically the interpreter is going to return that the result in the format of the float number. Even if you give that both numbers the float, no issues. So anyway, that output is the float. But both numbers are the integer, then you will get it the integer. But if one of the number is the float, then you will get that output is going to return that in the float representation. Either you are applying that addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, whatever it is. Yes, this is the common formula on the float number. So are you good on these integer data types and the operators on the integers? What are the operators we can perform it on the integers? And as well as almost like a float also, which we are understanding that float and integer, both data types almost the same. But yes, if one of the number is the float, obviously that output is going to return in the format of the float. But let me perform that variable assignment point of view. Yeah, now I just use that the values directly here, 2, 3, 4, or what are the values I'm using. I'm directly defining that's in the code. But let me take it in the format of the variables. Now I'll try to perform that variable assignment with integer data type. Are you following, everyone? Just make sure that you are all active, not in the sleeping mode, because after the weekend, yes, Monday morning, with a lazy mindset or yes, lazy mood. So are you active now? So type this in the chat window, active. Good. Good. Yes. Really awesome. Awesome response. Okay, so now let's move into that. The variable based we'll try to understand that. Suppose already you are understanding that suppose age equals something 30. Yes, now whenever we see this, yes, this age is the variable which is having that 30 value and it is integer data type. Now age variable is integer data type. If I try to print the variable and we are going to get that value or output as a 30. But here on this variable, can I perform arithmetic operators? Before directly we are performing on the values, on the constant, the variables. This is the constant. This is 2.0 constant value, 3.0 constant value. But now we have defined that value in the format of that, the variable. But can I assign the values or can I perform the arithmetic operators on this variable? Yes, let's talk about it. Suppose, yeah, in this statement, let me copy it. Yeah, age equal to 30. And as we know that, like we can reassign that, right? Suppose new age equal to something age plus 5. Then if I try to print age and if I try to print new age. So here what we have done. So what is the value it is going to printing? What is the first age value and what is the second new age value? This is a normal statement. I'm not talking that like that is space related algorithms and all that. The basic things. So if you are going to stepping into the programming and if you like to become the strong on the programming, yeah, maybe you can think it of that. If you know already these things, yes, they're all like very simple. What about all these? Yes, maybe you can think it of it. But if you'd like to have it, pillars on the program. So each and every line statement and each and every that operator is going to play very, very important role. You should think like as an interpreter. If I use it integers, what it is doing that interpreter or float numbers, that is we are trying to understand it. Yeah, good. So we are going to get the value of that 30 and 35, obviously, yes, no issues. But here the point, what is the statement I'm going to conclude here? We have taken this variable and we have applied that some arithmetic operator on this, and this value we are assigned to that another variable. Or can I use it at the same variable? Okay, this is for about your reference. I'm just keeping that. Let me copy this and let me use it in another one. Instead of using this new age, another variable, can I assign this to the same variable? Will it be acceptable? Now, what is that output? So what is that output it is going to return this now? Yeah, I see there's some error, the message. Error. Why it is error? Okay, let's run that. Yes, 35. So what is, I mean, there is no issue at all. You can reassign that. We are reassigning after performing this some arithmetic operator, the value, whatever it is returning, that value we are assigning to this variable. This is reassignment. This is declaring first. Already initially we are talking that in some string notation. Yeah, this is the declaring the variable. And here we have performed the arithmetic operator. Yes, we are executing some operation on this, the same variable, and that result we are assigning to this variable. This is valid, no issues. Now, if I move to this one more representation in this reassignment, suppose age we have taken as 30. And next statement, just suppose another representation, what we have is arithmetic operator instead of defining that age equal to age plus 5. The same one, how do we represent is, you can use it this notation also, plus or equal to and 5. Is it a valid statement or not? Suppose if I try to print the age. Now, is it a valid statement or not? Can we use it like this? Yeah, this is the valid. I see that some people are saying that's invalid, but this is a valid. Indirectly interpreted, what it is going to use it? Age equal to age plus 5. This is internally going to do that. So age plus or equal to the 5. That means age equal to age plus 5. So if I run this statement, now yes, we got it the 35. Like that, you can perform any operator. So not only here the plus, what are the arithmetic operators? They're all like we are talking that arithmetic operators. Let's suppose if I use it asterisk. So what is the meaning of that one is age asterisk representation. Now what is the value? The 150. And now if I use it division, then age equal to age divided by that 5. That is the meaning of that 6.0. Are you getting the points on this? So this is the reassignment. I mean, yes. So this is the reduce in the code. So what we can say this is reduce in the code. Or if you need that modulus or any operator, arithmetic operators which you can use at that. They're all as we are performing on the integers. Yes, you can perform that arithmetic operators. Are you clear of this? But same if you just talk it. Okay, so if you apply that this is integer or the float, the same representation, no issues. Whatever we are talking that integers, you can apply to the float also. But if it is the float, the number, then output will be in the format of the float. That is, you just keep this in the mind. But whatever the operators we are talking about it, plus, minus, asterisk, standard division, or integer division, or modulus, or power of that, these are all you can apply for that integer and as well as the float. And let me show that the string wise these operators. Suppose if I use it as something name equal to RNS. But if I would like to concatenate the string, yes, I can use the plus arithmetic operator. Yes, actually the plus is arithmetic operator, but in the string also we can use it that. Suppose if I say this, yes, RNS plus tech. Then if I try to print this one, the print of the name, then what is the value it is going to return? Yes, that is concatenating. You see this plus in the string, it is concatenation, but plus in the integer, that is addition operator. So on the base of the data type, the operator which you are using that, the value is going to change in that. So concatenation which you can use it, the plus. Suppose this RNS tech, I would like to print it. Let me define this. Name equal to RNS. The same string I need to have the 5 times. Then you can use it multiplication. Multiplication, how many times? Yes, 5 times. If you try to take it and if you try to just let me use the print. You see this, we got it that the same string, it is concatenated 5 times. The different understand. So if it is on the integer data type, that is a multiplication. But if it's the string data type, it is kind of the plus is concatenation and multiplication is number of times. The same string, it is like as a power of RNS into RNS into RNS into RNS, like that. But it is concatenation. Yeah, on the base of this data type, the operators are going to change in that. So whenever you define the variables, data types, yes. So you can understand this, the operators understanding, yes, operators usage, but we'll come back that more on the string later. But as we are talking about it, arithmetic operators, these arithmetic operators on the integers and the floats, those are all like, yes, which returns as a calculated format. But if you are going to apply the arithmetic operators on the string, it is kind of the concatenation or power of that string. Are you getting the points of this? So knowing the importance of the data types and on the data types, applying about that operators. Yes, operator on the base of the data type, we will be having the result different. That is the overall conclusion. Suppose, let me just talk with that. So if I use it, something 25 plus 5. I'm just using the space, or without using the space, I'm habituated to that. But without using the space also, you can perform that, no issues on it. So there is no difference at all using the space or without using the space. That output is the same. Suppose here we got it that 30. But what is that output of this here? Can you give me that output now? If I execute this statement, what is that output we are going to have it? Yeah, good. I see there's some responses. Yes, what about others? That is wrong, Prashant. Here, this is the integer data type. On the integer, as we are understanding that, the plus, yes, this is the arithmetic operator. But here, this is a string, right? So this number is encoded with a single quotation. That is representation. Python is going to understand this as a string. And this is one more string, plus indication concatenation. So this string concatenating with this string, then we are going to get that the output as 255, not the 30. You see this understanding the difference of that. The string and the integer. Yes, in the string, that is a concatenation arithmetic operators or the power of it. But in the integer, they're all like arithmetic operators, plus, minus, the asterisk, or the standard division, integer division, modulus, and the power of. Power of, how do we represent it? How do we represent the power of in the Python? Yes, double asterisk. First operand, and then double asterisk, and the second operand. Yeah, so these are all some the main outputs and main understanding on the integer float data types with operators. Yeah, they're all the operators that we can use it in arithmetic on integers or the floats. But string, okay, we understand that as a plus and asterisk, these two concatenation point of view or multiplication point of view. But yes, we have some more different operations on the string. That we'll come back later. But it is not yet done. Yes, it is just started on the data types. Are you clear these points for today on the integer and float? Yeah, understanding integers, how do we define it? Scientific notation, hexadecimal notation, octal representation, and arithmetic operators on integer or float and a string. Yeah, these are all the concepts that is for today. Yeah, we'll wind up for today. So like try to practice it. I'll share it to this the notebook. Let me save this one. I'm attaching this notebooks. Are you able to download it and use it? Or you can just have the reference. Type that how many of you are able to use these notebooks. In the resources, I am attaching that. So refer it one time. So once the class is, once it has been uploaded, so open that the Jupyter yes notebook and try to go ahead and refer that at least one time what it was discussed in the class. Okay, I see there's some responses. Good. If you're doing that the practice, then you will get that more confidence on the programming. We're talking at the very detail because these are all very basic pillars. So even that 1,000 steps also start with that first the step, right? You cannot go ahead directly jumping into the 1,000 steps. Yeah, if you see this in the Python file 1,000 lines, but first line start with that. Either it could be, it has to be started with the first line. Either it should be comment or either it should be statement. Yeah, all these points, finally, whenever you are analyzing the program, yes, definitely it is going to help in that. As a troubleshooter. Yeah, keep all these points in the mind. Okay, so good. Thank you. That's all from my side for today. So I'm going to log off. But before going to log off, any queries, questions, please ping that in the chat window. So if you have that, scientific notation, last one. So what is that? The last one, is it that minus 3 minus 4? Okay, so sure. So let me Suppose as we are talking about, do you see the screen? Suppose this is the representation, or you can use it 3e minus 4. So what is the meaning of that one is minus represents, okay, anyway, the number is 3 into e minus 4 is nothing but e, we know that 10. What is this minus representation is 1 divided by 10 power of the 4. 10 power of the 4. So this is the representation. Suppose if you perform the first if you perform this first this operation 1 divided by 10 power 4, what is the meaning of that? Then 3 into 1 divided by 10 power of the 4 is nothing but that is 0.0001, right? This is a representation. Then finally 3 into this one is nothing but that is 0. This is the final answer. So minus represents, so bring it that the 10 power of that number as a division of that number. Or if it is a 3e and a positive number, then 3 into 10 power of that number. Simple. Minus represents points. Is it clear now? Okay, good. Yes, anyone else? Any queries? Yeah, thank you. That's all from my side. So I'm going to log off and we'll meet tomorrow and we'll continue some more, or like always we have some input methods, and then we'll talk about that, the string data types, and then the list one by one will come back to. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all.